48. I am your host, the Boogeyman, Johnny Zuko, along with my co-host,
Hey guys, Ginger Snap here.
and always in the background.
Ms. Moist.
And today we are joined by a friend of ours, Micheal Seery from the We Love Horror podcast. Please go check him out on every podcast platform out there. I think he's on Spotify, Podbean, and Apple. Please go give him a like, a subscribe, and go make sure you go follow his Instagram account at we_love_love horror_podcast.
Love. How many loves did you have?
Yeah, one. It's only one love. The underscore
Johnny
threw me
really
off.
loves it. So
The underscore threw me
we
off.
love it.
So make sure you go give him a follow. All his links will be in the description below. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about Evil Dead.
Rise.
Rise.
Yeah. You're either adding words or omitting them. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's been a while. So yeah, Evil Dead Rise that is our main topic today. So let's get right into it. Actually, wait, before we get into it, Elisa had texted me about a horrible experience, and I am dying to hear this. So
talk about horror, you guys. I know I did the same with Michael. I was like messaging him, and he's probably so known. He's probably like, all right, gotta go, because I'm just
no, no, not at all. But she was like, it was one of the. You even said you're like, I bet you're wishing I didn't text you or you didn't ask what's wrong now, huh? And I was like, no, you can ask. You talk to me about that stuff anytime.
It's just like when I get on my rant, I can't let it go until like the next day. Like it just Virgo. Right? It's just all right. Okay. This is a public servants for can't even talk today. See, I'm still like upset. This is a public service announcement. The movie theater is not your living room.
A living room.
Please shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Right? That's number one. Okay. You all know, and like this is the weird thing, because usually Johnny's the one who, like, you guys are the ones that have the worst luck sometimes with the movie theater, yeah. Right? Yes. I've been pretty good like recently up until Sunday. Okay. Okay, first red flag, their margarita machine was down. That should have been
there you go.
Boom, number one. All right. So I go to a 4 p.m. show. All right. I don't go to late night shows anymore just because I want to avoid the annoying crowds. So I did like a 4 p.m. on Sunday. Didn't, thinking like it's not going to be crazy. I even bought my tickets like days in advance. Okay. Everything's fine when we get there. Literally, when like the last trailer comes on, 7 to 8 teenagers come like in a row, and I just knew, like, I don't like to judge really, but you just know sometimes they're bumping into our seats with their fucking cell phones on with their light trying to find their seat.
Oh my god.
Like, and Rudy was just like, my husband, he's like, here we fucking go.
Yeah.
He just knew too.
At that point I would have got up.
I know, but it's like
we have done that. We've gone out and said, a group of teenagers just sat near us, we want to move our seats. Even before anything happened.
It was pretty packed though. Like that's the thing. Like even the showing after us, it was all packed, And like normally I would have done that too, or like actually with what happens, I would have gone out, but I knew we were recording today and I couldn't watch the movie yesterday. So I was like, I'm just gonna stick it out. So that was the first thing that happened. They were just like late and annoying, like trying to find their seats, like bumping into us. And then as soon as the fucking movie starts, they're talking right away. Like, and I just thought, okay, maybe they're going to like shut up, once it gets going, like once, like they're settling in. Okay. Keeps going. And they're not even whispering, guys. They're not even whispering. It's like room tone, like level talking. And then it just keeps going and going. And then they're making fart noises and laughing. And they're laughing at scenes that like aren't funny. Like the movie's not funny as it is, but like they're just laughing. And like it was 2 girls and the rest were guys. So it's like the guys were trying to impress the girls kind of situation, even though I don't find that impressive. And they keep going. And then my husband like was so annoyed. Like he was the first one to tell him, "Can you guys shut up?" Like he was the very first person to say that. Yeah, he's a Sagittarius. Like you don't
no filter.
Yeah,
and we love it in those situations.
Oh yeah, and then I even like start going shh, shh, and then they kept doing it, and then finally another person was like, "Shut the fuck up, bro."
Yes.
And then, but like that was, dude, the last 20 minutes they weren't talking, but for the whole rest of the entire movie, that's how my situation
was. God.
And it sucks because like I actually liked this movie, but I feel like them and my anxiety worrying about them and like just annoying, it takes you out of like, oh, I want to watch a fun horror movie and just chill. Like you have to worry about what's going on over there.
That's exactly like I will sit there and if people don't shut up like in the first few minutes, I spend the whole fucking time sitting there like
worrying,
like feeling, like it's just that anxiety because also in my mind I'm planning on saying something. So then it's that building up in my head, like when is, kind of looking for an opportunity that's appropriate isn't the right word, but like in your mind, you're gearing yourself up like, okay, if this keeps going, I'm going to say something. So then there's the stress of that.
Right. Yeah. No,
and you're not watching the movie. Like,
and it just sucks because it's like you also don't want to be, because I'm very shy, but like I don't want to be like the first person to say something and then have them like film me on their phones because that's what teenagers do these days. Like, oh hey, it's a Karen, look at Karen. Yeah. And so that's also an anxiety that I have. Like I don't want them to film me and like do that annoying thing. And then it's like, why aren't other people speaking up? Like, I don't know.
Yes.
It's just bizarre. Like again,
that always gets me too.
Again, it wasn't even whispering. That's the thing. Like I've been in movies where people are whispering or, like if people are laughing or you're all in on it for a reason, but if it's like them literally talking room tone, like this experience makes me not want to go to the theater anymore.
That was what I told Johnny last time we went. I'm like, I am really fucking over going to the movies. Like I sit there for a half hour, like anxious, like ready to say something. Like I'm not quiet when that stuff happens. I don't want to say I pick fights with people, but I'm the person that says, shut the fuck up. Like after a while. And I don't give a shit. Like fucking film me. I'm a Karen. I'll open it. No, I'm not really. I mean, that's a justified getting pissed. That's justified. Like
because you're paying to be there. Like you're paying to be there and have
right. Why are they here?
Like I'm honestly like, am I gonna have to go to like an 11 a.m. showing now? Like it's just so ridiculous. And this is why I avoid late night showings, is because you're gonna get those. Usually, you get those types of people, but it's like, fuck, this was 4 p.m. on a Sunday.
Like I strongly believe that people need to start making complaints and writing bad reviews at theaters that happens at. Because ultimately, it's the theater's responsibility to protect your experience. They are charging you an arm and a leg to sit in there and watch the movie with an expectation, and the little film the little blurb that they put in the beginning of you sitting there that tells you, shut the fuck up, get off your fucking phone, turn your fucking light off. And that doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. We need to bring back the days of the usher, and people need to start complaining about their theater experience when it happens so that movie theaters move on that.
When I do my rants, I tag
rant over.
I tag AMC, Regal, Cinemark. I tag those. I mean, even though I'm a small creator, but I still tag them because they're there, and I hashtag them. Because there are other people in the comment sections that feel exactly the same way. Like that shit's annoying. That shit sucks.
And when you're there, go get the manager and ask for your money back. I would say 99% of the time they say, well, we don't do that. Well, you're not in there. And then they end up giving us our money back. Yeah. Because we don't let it go. Because it's like we paid $30-something to fucking sit here.
And it's so annoying because like I would have done that, but my husband was so annoyed. Like we didn't even stay if there were post-credit scenes. I don't know if there were.
There wasn't.
Okay. So and I was like, should we go? And he's like, no, I just want to fucking leave. Like that's how annoyed he was. And instead of playing that like, hey, turn your cell phones off. They need to play that little segment from Screen 4 with Anna Paquin and Kirsten Bell, where she stabs her in the fucking stomach and she's like, because you talk too much. Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
Yes.
That they need to show that in front of every movie.
It just blows my mind to me how disrespectful people are. It's like, how can you honestly, like, it just like blows my mind that you can like just leave your house and be that disrespectful in a public place. Like, and I feel like back when I was like a teenager in high school, like there used to be like ushers and shit that would like kick you out of the theater for even turning on your phone once during the movie. Like, I don't know why theaters have gotten so lax lately, but they need to fucking get on their shit again, because this is ridiculous. Like the fact that people are just openly able to be on their phone the entire movie or sit there and talk like they're in their fucking living room. It's like, get your shit together, movie theaters. Like this is a message from us to you. Get your shit together.
The one that
I think maybe because of the COVID thing, maybe they're like, we don't want to push people away, so they're toning it down a little bit, like the control. Do you know what I mean? Because COVID, they took such a hit with COVID. But you know what? I think they need to start taking a bigger hit for not controlling it.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that really like blew my mind is that when I went to go see Smile, and there was a fucking Cinemark employee. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say the fucking theater's name. The Cinemark employee sitting right in front of me, and the whole entire theater is fucking talking. And then this motherfucker had the fucking nerve to go up to another employee and said, "Oh yeah, that movie was awesome." And I lost it.
The person next to him was on his phone.
I fucking lost it. To him. I fucking lost it at that point in time, and then I just went off on the employees. Like, dude, that was a fucking worst theater experience that I ever had, dude. People just wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Which Cinemark was this?
That was the one in Oak Ridge, and it was like a Thursday night showing. And I was like, dude, fuck this shit.
Man, I just like, I don't know. Like, I know Ms. Moist last time was saying we should just have like a page where people can complain.
Oh, I'm still planning. I've been thinking about it. We're gonna do it. Yeah. We need to do it.
We should.
and we need to have it open, and when people have an experience, they tag that fucking theater where we get, where they see the complaints.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Like this, honestly, like I want to see Renfield still, and I'm like, am I gonna have to deal with the same thing? Like, I don't know. Like, it just makes me like not want to go to the movies for a while, to be honest, because it was so bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sucks. But like,
that's funny. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, we need to invest in like a giant TV in our living room, like way more big, like, because I'm so fucking sick of going to the theater and spending, money, 45 minutes, spending my money, and then spending 45 minutes with like that feeling in my gut of like, do I tell them to shut the fuck up? Do I go like worrying about that instead of just sitting there and,
enjoying the movie,
taking in the experience I paid for?
And honestly, we've talked about this before, but it's not your job to have to fucking tell people to shut the fuck up. It's the people it's the employees that work there that should be fucking doing that. And like that
the theater should be protecting our experience that we paid for. It's
exactly
that simple. It's on them. The burden of it is on them.
Yeah. Either you give us the experience we were promised or give us our money back.
Yeah. That's why I think people need to start walking out, and even though they say it's not our policy, push it and say, well, I didn't pay to sit, and like I could do this in my living room.
Yeah.
I could have the same experience with my kids in my living room with them fucking never shutting up.
Your kids and your cats.
Well, I'm trying to do something.
Yeah.
I watch a movie.
Oh, I know. It's just like that, and I didn't
grinds my fucking gears.
Like I didn't want to start the episode out like in such a negative way, but it's like it really ruined my experience, and I actually really enjoyed these characters, and I did like this movie. But yeah, it's just like it's so frustrating, man. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, on a positive light, let's start with like first thoughts, first impressions. Michael, do you want to go first?
Yeah. Are we just doing spoiler free first impressions right now?
Yeah.
Okay. We are getting into spoilers though, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my spoiler-free thoughts are I thought it was good. I didn't absolutely like over the moon love it though. I had a fun time with it, but there were things that I found I was well, it was lacking a little bit in certain areas. And we can get into that a little bit later, but like it was kind of there were parts that I really really enjoyed, but then there were parts that left me feeling a little underwhelmed. But all in all, I feel like this movie was pretty decent. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Can I ask everybody really quick what they thought of the remake?
The 2013 one?
Yeah.
I'm an outcast on this one.
I loved that one, so
I didn't like it.
See, that's the connection I was wondering about is because the remake I thought was complete trash, but this one I thought the vibe, but I love you still, Michael. The vibe was
well that's how I felt too. Like
the vibe of the original was there in this one, and I was worried they were gonna do what they did with the 2013 one with this one. And I liked that it didn't have that same kind of I don't know, that the other one was just
see, I liked the remake for the fact that it wasn't like the other ones, because like you guys already know, I probably told you this before, I'm not a fan of the original movies that much. I think there's, I think they're fine for what they are, but like they're a little too campy for me. Like they're
that first one is not campy though.
That's true. Yeah,
that first one is very atmospheric and very creepy. I was rewatching a little bit of it last night, and I was like, the tone and the setting and you totally feel the dread as soon as they walk up to that cabin. And the second one, it's a total,
it's a different feeling.
A
total shift. It's
goofy.
Yeah,
sorry again.
You know what I mean? From what the original was. And when
it might be. Oh, sorry.
When you hear Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell talk about why they changed it, was because, well, we didn't own the rights to the original movie, so we just fucking parodied it. We just made it a parody because they didn't own the original rights, because they fucking lost them to New Line Cinema. And so it's kind of funny to me that they ended up making a parody, but the parody is what it's really most known for.
Yeah, an Army of Darkness and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Ash versus Evil Dead. I thought Ash Evil Dead was like the perfect Evil Dead and the perfect bow tie on the Evil Dead franchise, at least on Ash's story. In my
I was wondering personally, I saw Evil Dead in the theater when I was 11, and so I was thinking, I hadn't rewatched it, and so I was wondering if it was more nostalgia, me, liking it better. But then rewatching it, no. It's a million times better than the 2013. Like 10 minutes into the 2013 one, I was like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, that's the thing, like, because I saw
so corny to me.
It was too, I don't know what it was, because I love when I heard like Shiloh Fernandez is gonna be, and I was like, yes, like I was excited, but then I saw it and I was just like, that's it. Like I was very underwhelmed because they hyped it up so much.
The soundtrack was hard to some of that music in there.
I saw Evil Dead. I saw the remake in 2013. I saw it opening weekend, and if you remember, right around that time, horror was not in a good place. No. Horror was not in a good place. Everything was geared toward the YA crowd, and it was always a remake, this and that. But when Evil Dead came out, it's what Terrifier did for horror, which like kind of brought back the splatter practical effects, and that's one of the things that this movie is really held up. And I rewatched that remake. That those practical effects held up so well.
Really?
Yeah.
And I love how they did the bait and switch with David and Mia. You think David is set up to be Ash, but it's Mia. It was Mia all along. And I love that bait and switch toward the end of the movie, where it was Mia taking over the mantle as Ash and not David. And I thought that was like a really good way for them to like set off a franchise, in which never materialized. But
yeah,
I think I need to give it a rewatch just because like I just was very underwhelmed. And then a lot of people though loved it. I think for me, I was so burnt out with remakes at that point. And that's why this one, I just felt like it was a fresh take and it's new characters. It's not like Ash or it's not like the same cabin setup. Like I love this because it's in an apartment complex. It's a different family, it's different characters, and it's a new book, or it's like one of they make it where it's like this book is found and it's one of like three, I think they were saying.
which I
So
thought was like a really cool concept because I was like, okay, so like all of these movies can
be connected,
happen in the same universe. Because I was like,
yeah.
are they doing like a multiverse thing where it's like they're not retconning per se, but like it's just kind of like, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
when they brought that little detail up, I was like, oh, that was kind of nice. So we can include the 2013 Evil Dead in this universe and the original one, which is kind of cool.
You know what I love though too? I love the fact that somehow, some way they retcon the bootleg ending to Army of Darkness, where Ash wakes up in a fucking post-apocalyptic world. He's like, I slept too long. I like to think there's a fucking universe of like old Ash out there.
Oh my god.
Like that would be awesome. But yeah, my first impressions, I like this more than I thought I was going to. This was not a movie that I was excited for. When it was announced, I was like, I shrugged because I was like, again, I thought they're gonna shit on what Ash versus Evil Dead did, but this one actually had a fresh take on it. It was an apartment setting. It's like, how are you gonna make that work? They made it work. Practical effects, Elisa, we're big on practical effects, and I thought the practical effects in this fucking movie was top notch, man, for real. And it was gory as fuck, man.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I was worried that they were gonna play it a little too safe, but no, they
didn't.
They didn't play it
I will
safe.
never
That was the only thing that I was worried about.
The cheese grater.
The same way.
No, I thought that too. Like the only thing, and Mike and I were kind of talking about this earlier, I feel like the trailer did give a lot away. Like it gave a lot of those scenes away. So like, I mean, it's still impactful when you're watching it in the theater because this shit, I mean, the scalp coming off, like the cheese grater, the eyeball.
Oh, and
like,
that beginning was great.
Yeah.
I loved that. That to me, like I guess spoiler alert, but I liked it a lot better than I thought I would too. I thought it was going to be more sorry again, Michael, like the 2013 one, like the
yeah.
That's
and
okay. I was pleasantly surprised. We still love that. We're on the same page about that.
I felt the same. Like I felt the same way. Like I was like, oh, okay, how are they going to do this? Like, but it was a fresh take. And as soon as like you hear like LCD sound system, Dance Yourself Clean playing, I was like, yes, like, yes, I was just in. And like, I don't know, the characters and the family were cool. Like they had this like edgy alternative look. Like you have the sister relationship, the kids. I just thought it was like different than all the other Evil Dead or like the other remakes and stuff like that. It was just a fresh take, so I really appreciate
Also, they put the kids
and I felt like too that
the kids were in danger, but cost in danger.
The kids, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which we love here. We love when kids are in danger in horror movies.
And I right. And I felt like too I wasn't watching characters.
Yeah, like it felt like a real family.
It felt like, they felt real to me, even though they were, the kind of the edgy and alternative. A lot of the time when I feel like in movies, when there's those kind of characters, they're like just like a parody of that almost or something. Yeah. Like it's not, the dialogue doesn't seem on point. And these all felt like real kind of little interactions. And so, yeah, I really liked that. I thought they did that well too.
And they had cool personalities, like Danny, the DJ, the girl wants to be like a protester, and then the little girl like is making like chopping Barbie heads off and making like a spike. Like they all had cool, I don't know, they're like cool and interesting kids, I feel.
And the mom had a very interesting face.
Yeah.
A very expressive, interesting looking face that I think really worked for what was happening, which is a weird thing to say maybe, but
no, especially when
she had really neat features that worked with that character and what was happening.
She's actually a model too. She does like print and runway work too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you know who she based who I guess she studied for her character for inspiration? Is Mask, the Jim Carrey, The Mask.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
she used that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool.
You can see it too, like in certain aspects when she's looking right into the people.
Yeah.
Her smile, and it's just like, shit.
I have to say, like, Alyssa Sutherland like killed it in this fucking movie. Like, there's just this one shot that's like burned into my mind. It's right after she gets possessed, and you get that shot of the entryway, and she just opens the door, and she's just like standing there all like, I was like,
Ooh, yeah.
it's like, nah,
So creepy.
nah, I'm out. I'm leaving this place right fucking now. Fuck that. Like, and just like her physicality, because I'm pretty sure she did all of her own stunts in this movie too, because there's a bunch of behind the scenes stuff that I've seen on Instagram and online and stuff of her just like doing all like the wire work in the elevator and all the stuff. So that's like super cool, I think. And I don't know, I agree to a certain extent with what you guys were saying about the family dynamic. I think that was kind of lacking for me a little bit. I wish there was a little bit more, to be honest with you. And granted, this is my first time watching this movie, so maybe I'll change my mind the more that I watch it, but I felt a little underwhelmed with the family dynamic. I think you got like a little bit from the two sisters because obviously they're estranged. I like that explanation. Like I liked the whole scene where she didn't get the memo that the husband basically left the family. And so you get that awkward moment at the table when she's giving everybody presents and stuff. And then it goes into like the explanation with the sister, how she's like, oh, I did call you twice. You didn't pick up. So that was kind of nice. I wanted more from that though. And I wanted more from like the characters in general. I just kind of felt like it was a little bit underwhelming. And so I found myself I don't know, not caring as much for the characters. I mean, granted, there's stakes involved more so in this movie because there are kids involved. So I guess that was like a little more of a stake, but I just feel like that it wasn't enough to make me fully care for these characters. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like in the 2013 one, like, I feel like I'm going to relate this movie to that one a lot. Sorry, guys. But I just felt like the characters in that one, I felt were a little more fleshed out. Granted, there could have been a couple more scenes with them as characters before shit went down as well. And I guess that's
there is in the unrated version. The beginning is actually like 5 minutes, like 2 minutes longer.
Yeah,
you spend more time with Mia and Jessica and then the other guy.
Yeah, and I did discuss that in an episode that I did for another podcast. We did Evil Dead 2013, and I discussed like it would have been kind of cool to maybe get a scene of all of them like in the cabin together, maybe having like a really good conversation, or even like having kind of like a similar scene like what they did in X, where they're all playing the guitar and singing, and then right before shit goes down with Mia's withdrawal stuff or something. But like that's kind of how I felt with this movie as well. I kind of just felt like there could have been a little bit more character development with this family dynamic, like maybe a couple more scenes of them together before shit goes down. And maybe even like so the people in the apartment complex, like I know that they were just kind of side characters and kind of cannon fodder anyway, but I just felt like they were kind of just wasted a little bit. Like I just felt like, are we supposed to care about these characters? Because I don't, like, you know what I mean?
Which especially with that line. You like the least? Oh, sorry. Which character did you like the least?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably shit. Probably the brother character, the fucking one that just released. Yeah, the DJ, because he was a good actor. Yeah. He was just stupid.
Yes.
You need a stupid character to get the movie going, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you do. You really do. But I agree with you about like the apartment complex people. Like they could have utilized them a little bit more. I mean, you do get that a little bit when he I forgot his name, but it's the one who offers to help her look for the kids when they go, missing after the earthquake happens. Like you do get a sense like, oh, they're close with their neighbors. But yeah, I agree with you on that. But I don't know. I just thought it was just different. They brought a lot of different things to the table. I feel like in this one, my only beef with this, and this is gonna sound so dumb, like she's possessed, right, and can do all these crazy things. She can like jump out of water and do all these things, but she can't open can't open the apartment door.
I was thinking the same thing,
right?
It's like, so she has to ask. So let me ask all of you this then. What, based on what we know about the franchise or all the movies that we've seen in this, what is it that makes you get possessed or not? Like, what is what are the factors that, and then what are the things that give it power to do other things? Like the elements that, is it the progression of the book? Is it that, as you go through the pages, does that make sense? Does the question make sense? I was like, well, because watching the scene with the young daughter and her asking for the door to be open, that was my thought too. I'm like, why is she still out in the hall? Like, and then she has to get a clue from the cat on how to go through
up. Yeah.
Oh, spoiler. Sorry. But how to go through the vents? Like, how come doesn't know this already? She has all this power.
Yeah.
It's like a vampire. Do they have to be invited in? Like I didn't get that
That's what I
either.
was saying. Is there little clues to this that we missed, or did they just figure it's it's a demon, like who knows? It's just supernatural shit.
It's mysterious.
Yeah.
I always thought, I'm just gonna call it like the evil, doesn't the evil go into like those who are vulnerable, or I don't know. Like that's a good question.
Johnny had said when we were talking about it that
So
they have to get injured, but then
yeah, the Deadites
like the sister got injured and it didn't happen to her, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's not an element that's needed.
So here are ways that a Deadite can take over a host. A violent, lethal attack from another Deadite. There have been several instances of attacks from Deadites on living beings that have resulted in possession of said being afterwards. Ash's girlfriend Linda becomes possessed after being stabbed in the ankle by a Deadite, Cheryl. During Ash's second night at the cabin, he saw Ed Gately become possessed after his body was thrown against a wall and his head slammed against a picture frame by Henrietta. Touch of evil. One of the most infamous methods of possession comes from physical violation of a potential host's body from living objects. Two well-known examples of this are Cheryl and Mia, which both of them become possessed after an attack of a living forest surrounding, which goes back to God damn it, what's her name? The elevator scene.
Yeah.
But she doesn't, but it like just enters her. She doesn't get.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. It's saying it enters her because the elevator is alive. The steel cables are the living thing.
Isn't that just a recreation of the tree rape scene, right?
But
yeah, pretty much.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what it was.
But right? that's why it took over her. And then a bite and scratch. Deadites have been shown to possess others via bite or scratch from their claws. The most well-known example of this possession occurred when the severed head of Linda bit the right hand of Ash. Ash was able to prevent the complete possession of his body after cutting his hand with a chainsaw. Sister Ronnie was scratched by a Deadite on her arm during a confrontation, which later resulted in transformation to a Deadite. The orb, very little known, is known, but in alternate realities, Ash is connected with the orb and results as a spirit, which we saw at the beginning of Dead by Dawn 2, and a Necronomicon spell. So
okay, so that some of those things happen to the sister, right?
I guess.
Here's what I'm thinking in so she was pregnant. I wonder if because the baby didn't get attacked and they were connected, it wasn't able to happen.
Yeah. Oh, like for her
Even though the movie doesn't really, I mean, I don't.
But it says souls because then she's like, I'm gonna swallow your soul, and then she sniffs her belly. She's like,
yeah, then she goes two souls.
Okay.
Yeah, or whatever she
Which
said.
is why she was trying to claw the fucking stomach. Also, she was trying to enter her stomach. Also,
right. So maybe she was quote unquote protected because of that. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that they chose to like kind of keep out the fact that like unless you get like scratched or somehow like bodily fluids combine with each other, you get possessed.
Yes.
Because I just think that's ridiculous that you can get thrown against a fucking wall when you can turn into a deadite from that. That's so dumb to me.
Yeah.
Like when you were explaining that,
Yeah.
Johnny, I was like, really? That's how they did
No,
it?
'cause, I mean, if you remember in Evil Dead, Henrietta grabs the farmer's head and squishes it. She claws him and then throws him.
Mm.
They don't do a really good job of explaining that, but I remember the scene they're talking about because she goes and scratches him and then fucking chucks him, and then he becomes
But the whole pencil in the ankle thing, how the fuck did she turn possessed from that? That's like the thing I'm
Oh
like,
my God, I remember seeing that, and I was like, no.
and for a minute I had almost forgotten about, I was like, so why did the daughter in this one get possessed then? But that, because I remember she took the needle and put it into her head before she transferred it to the daughter. So that's how, because I was like, how did the daughter get possessed? Because the needle didn't. And I was like, no, the needle did touch.
She went like, she went really very deliberately going like this, and then oh man.
Also,
I kind of wish
as the book progresses and the pages flip, I don't know if it was supposed to be like a prediction of it happening, or if they fit the, because they looked like the people in the illustrations, right? Like as each one page flipped and it went through.
It was prophesized. It was a prophecy.
Yeah. And that's kind of what they did with the 2013 one too. They'd do like they'd flip to certain pages and it would show like certain things that were happening. I did really like the look of the book in this one though, more so than the original or the 2013 one. Like I thought it looked fucking gnarly. The teeth on the side of it, I was like, oh.
And then it bit, like when it bites Danny, right? Or like Nick's Danny.
Yeah, I think he cut his finger on one of them because he was trying to open it, and then as soon as the blood absorbed, then it opened up, and the way the teeth looked when it was like, I was like, oh, gross.
Gross. Like claws almost.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then just like even the just the way everyone like transforms though, like like I feel like that hallway scene with the neighbors and like the eye, that to me, I don't know why, like the eyeball and then like the eyeball throwing into the guy's mouth and him choking.
That was so Evil Dead 2 to me. Like I watched that and I was like, that's there we go.
I was like, oh my God, they went for it. But they did not hold back with the gore on this. Like this was pretty gory. Like this is probably one of the goriest films I've seen in a while, to be honest.
Have you not seen Terrifier 2?
Well, besides that was last year. I'm talking like this year.
Have you not seen The Sadness?
I have not.
Oh, girl. Woo, daddy. That movie fucked me up.
Down.
I need to see that.
You're never going to look at a wheelchair and an eyeball scene ever the same ever again.
Well, I don't know if I want to watch it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do. It fucked me up
really
bad.
That
it was so bad. It gave me nightmares.
It was a gnarly fucking movie. It was, and it has there's no redeeming qualities to that movie at all. There's none. It is such a bleak fucking movie. I'm like, oh my God. I laughed at the end because I was like, oh my God, that is a realistic ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like realistic endings though.
Yeah, but it takes a lot out of you just to get to that point.
It does. Yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much more gory is that than Evil
20.
Dead?
It's a 20.
More than Terrifier 2.
But here's the thing. Yes. The thing that separates The Sadness from like Evil Dead, because Evil Dead is like, it can be realistic gore, but this one felt real. Like The Sadness feels real. Yeah. Like it feels like,
and the violence is not over the top. It is captured in a way where it's like real.
Wow.
And it's really hard to like watch certain sequences, especially when you get to the hospital scene. It is. But I will say it has the best head explosion since Scanners, though. I will say that. Say that. Because that shit was earned. That shit was hilarious.
I'm getting sweaty palms just talking about The Sadness. It gives me fucking like, I can't, it's hard for me to talk about that movie. And it might be me for just being over dramatic, but that movie fucked me up. Like I was fucked up for days after watching that movie. And that never happens to me. That hasn't happened to me since I was in like high school.
Oh my God.
It was, girl.
I feel like that type of gore is different though. Like realistic gore is way more scarier to me than like Evil Dead or like Terrifier, because it's like fake. You know what I mean? Like the concept and everything. But it's funny because like my husband hates gore, and he would like put his hand up like to like all the gory scenes. And I'm like, you love like scanners, dude. Like, what do you mean you don't like gore? And he's like, that's different because that's sci-fi and blah blah blah.
And it's goofier.
It is goofier. But I do feel like they did a really good job with the gore scenes in this. And you're just like, oh man, like I'm glad I wasn't eating when I was watching this.
Oh, I know. I had brought a little snack and I was like, no. I put it back in my bag.
I was
sorry.
I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the only thing that kind of bummed me out about like the gory stuff was I really liked the way that Alyssa Sutherland looked as the Deadite, but the rest of them just kind of looked basic to me. They didn't look scary to me. The one girl, the daughter, when she's eating the glass, she does look scary, but when they're all out in the hallway and they're like dead by dawn, they don't look scary to me. They kind of look,
they're like laughing and stuff.
Yeah, they kind of another Evil Dead 2 reference. You can tell this motherfucker loved Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too. Oh, yeah. What about the nods to The Shining?
Yeah, the elevator.
I did like that.
Right? Mm-hmm. So what was that about? Does anyone know?
I don't understand that.
It was a fan.
Yeah, I was like,
just a fan.
I was just reading about that, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, we wanted to do it because I wanted to do my own version of that." So
I could see a bunch of different like influences, like even Poltergeist 3 a little bit. Like in this, because the apartment complex and like certain shots, like I got that kind of vibe. Definitely Shining vibes.
Yes.
Yeah, original.
And
like
focuses on numbers too, like
on numbers,
80s, like on number, like just close-ups on numbers. And I was wondering if that was also in some kind of roundabout way a Shining reference. Like maybe. The 85, and then there was a close-up of the 5 and then the 13. I don't know if it was just a mood thing or if it was, you know, like maybe there's some significance that only they, because wasn't that a Shining thing too? The significance of like little symbolism and
everything.
Yes, yeah. So I wondered if that was a part of it. Like maybe there's some meaning that just wasn't really included in the movie as an explanation, but just something that between them.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. This is the first I haven't seen like this director's like any of his other work, so this is the first work I've seen, and I thought he did a decent job.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't know, I feel like less is more sometimes. Like I know that they have to kind of like one up the previous one, but like when the there were some really cool shots of this, but when the ending demon is like, there's like 3 of them like stuck together, and it did look silly in some shots. I was like, this kind of looks over it, like, but I guess that's the point because it's supposed to be more over the top and ridiculous. Like it's very paying homage to Evil Dead 2, I'm sure, but like I don't know, it just felt like it kind of, there were a couple of moments that took me out with that where I was like, okay, it could have been like less is more. Like I just feel like the ending to the 2013 one was so much more climactic to me personally. Like I thought that was fucking amazing. And then this one, I liked it, but it was just kind of like, okay.
You know what that reminded me of?
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, you know, the creature at the end, it reminded me of Society. Have you seen Society where they're all
yeah, I was gonna say, or the color of space. Was that what it was called?
Yeah, color
space.
Oh
yeah, color of space.
Like all, you know, melted together. That was what I thought of.
Or Resident Evil, because it kind of reminded me of Resident Evil too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like the blood elevator, it was cool, but it doesn't really make sense. I was like, why is there? And I thought maybe when the elevator was filling with blood, I was like, oh, so like, is this the blood of other people that were in the apartment complex? But apparently it only affected the floor that it happened on. So
yeah, because the girl.
And I'm like, so you're meaning to tell me that girl goes all the way down to the parking structure and doesn't see all the blood splattered on the walls and the floor like, so I'm like, this makes that you gotta like loosen up these plot holes a little bit because that makes no sense. The fact that
she was supposed to be completely self-absorbed.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was that's what I was hoping for. I wanted sorry, my allergies today. I wanted, because like all those influencers, they only care about like what they're doing. Yeah. So I feel like that's where they were going with her. Like, oh, she's so oblivious to like everything that happened. I kind of wish they stayed with that. And then she's like in her car and then it comes for her, where instead she goes and like investigates it. Cause that would have been funny to me.
I would buy that. I would buy the whole self-absorbed thing if she walked past the entire blood-filled freaking lobby and all of a sudden didn't notice that, but then noticed the little blood splatters on the car in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Even my friend, like when we were watching the movie, he's like, "Where's that blood coming from?" And I was like, "I don't know," because at least in like the 2013 one, it makes sense for it to be raining blood. But I was like, the elevator of blood thing, I was just like, I get the homage, like I appreciate the reference, but I was like, you got to make it make sense. I don't know.
And again, we go back to if they can fill an elevator with blood, why can't they just open the door?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I feel like they did set up that character though kind of in the beginning too with the interaction, talking about her being, what was the guy saying about her?
Like she's a pain in the ass or something.
Yeah. So they did. I felt like that was a way to set up her character being kind of self-absorbed and an asshole. But
honestly, I think the opening scene for me was probably the best scene in this movie though, because that whole was so good. And
I hate you and kept going. I was like, this is great.
Well, that whole scene when she's in the bedroom with her sister and she starts reading the passages from the book, I was like, this is fucking creepy. Like that scene creeped me out. I was like, oh yeah. And like there were a lot of other creepy moments with this film, but like I think for me, going back to my original point, I think like the reason why I love the 2013 one so much is because it was so serious. And I know you guys don't like it for that reason alone, but like, I don't know. I didn't mind the campiness in this one. I just kind of wish there were more creepy scenes like that. There were a lot, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I felt a little underwhelmed in some parts, if that makes sense.
I get it. I also feel like people are trying to compete or trying to compare this too much with the 2013 one. And I think they need to like let that go. Like, because this is totally different. This is a new thing. It's not a remake of that. It's its own different thing. So I feel like, I mean, it was so successful. I mean, what, like over 40 million? So there's definitely, they're going to be doing more, hopefully. Well, and I hope they do like different stories.
Bruce Campbell said today on IndieWire, said that they're hopefully they can do another 2-3 movies a year. So
that would be cool if they did like different areas.
A movie every 2-3 years.
Nice.
So that would be cool.
I think for me, since the 2013 one keeps coming up.
Sorry.
Let it go.
Let it go. It wasn't that it had a serious, I couldn't take it seriously. I just thought it was so corny. That was what got me. Like the interactions were corny. Like I couldn't take it serious. That's what bothered me. I don't mind if it's not campy. I just was like, what? I felt like I was watching characters.
That's how I felt too.
I like made up characters instead of, and it's not like this one I didn't like the sister that much. I thought some of her acting was a little like not on point, and I think the two of them, the little girl though, I really liked her.
Yeah, she was great.
She was really good. And then the sisters, I think they were the best out of everyone. But
one thing I wish they did change, like some of the dialogue, I feel like was kind of iffy. I wish they didn't have the line where she's like, "Come get some." Like, no.
Yeah.
I wish they made up their own one-liners. Like that really bothered me for some reason.
Yeah.
And like even though like I am not a groupie. Like
you know
what I mean?
I was like, why are we still pushing this groupie narrative? Like, it was funny the first time she said it, and then it was like, okay, like this
like we get it.
I love the part.
And I'm like, you're meaning to tell me that your sister was not also a groupie at some point? She looks like she would travel. She also looks like she would travel around with a band as well. So
like maybe all those kids have 3 dads.
That's what it was.
Yeah, she should not cast stones at Glass House's Miss Thing because you were also probably a groupie in your day. So
yeah, the dad was probably a guitarist.
Yeah, exactly.
He went on tour and she was mad about it because he couldn't go. He didn't leave her, he just went on tour.
Plot twist, he's on tour with her sister and they've been sleeping together the whole time.
Oh,
that would be bad.
That part at the stove was really creepy, like where she says about that she wanted to cut them open and
climb inside.
Yeah, I was like,
me out. Like the eggs, like I was gonna like,
I know.
so disgusting.
And that kind of just goes back to like what I said earlier about how I wish I wouldn't have seen the trailer before I watched this movie, because I think that might be why I felt so underwhelmed. Because like you guys said, it is a very gory movie. It is a very like, there are some really scary moments, but I think for me, all the gory moments we pretty much saw in the trailer, almost, if not like pretty much all of them, if not, you know. So I guess for me, like I found myself predicting when and where those scenes were going to happen, and I guess that kind of just took me out of the moment, and it kind of made me enjoy the movie less as like an experience. Granted, I really enjoyed the movie. I just wish I would have gone into it not seeing the trailer. I wish I would have gone into it completely blind, because that scalp rip scene when she rips her scalp, I was like, that would have shocked me even more. Yeah. I mean, granted, it was still crazy to see it in the theater and like hear people react to it, like in the crowd behind me. Like people were like, "Oh my God!" Like, but like I knew it was coming, so for me, it wasn't as big of like a hit. So I don't know. I think that's like the biggest takeaway. If anyone has not seen this movie yet, do not watch the trailer. Yeah,
I feel like that's so common.
I didn't pay attention to the trailer. Like it would be on, or we would be seeing the theater, and I just thought it looked stupid. Like I kind of assumed it was not going to be that good, so I didn't really pay attention. So maybe it would have made a difference. Maybe that's why I was a little bit more pleasantly surprised.
But don't you guys think trailers now? I know there was a movie that came out.
Oh, they tell the whole story.
Yeah, but what was that movie where they revealed the killer in the trailer? Oh, this is gonna bother me.
This is
a couple months ago, and they're like, dude, they literally show who the killer is in the trailer.
What movie is that?
Yeah, remember?
Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts. Like everybody was talking about this at the time too. I can't remember right now, but yeah, trailers these days, it's like everything. Like
it's a short, basically.
Yeah.
It's not even a trailer anymore. Like you're watching a short.
Yeah.
Yeah, true story. There were a few parts where I was like, you could totally tell this movie missed some of Sam Raimi's direction. Because there were some like the orb scenes. I kind of wish, you know, you could totally tell that wasn't done by Sam Raimi. And then also when the book was being like, when they were chanting the prayer, Sam Raimi has his really quick dolly zooms on objects, and you hear them and then in the background. You could totally tell, for me, honestly, that was missing.
Yeah.
To me, that was missing. Like, had they tried to figure out how to incorporate some of those shots and editing techniques, I would have been all on board. It's like, yes, this would have been a perfect movie. But yeah, you can totally tell that this movie does miss some of Sam Raimi's editing tricks and some of his.
They did have that in the intro though, which I thought was cool, and they make it where it's the droid. Like I thought that was like a cool homage to him. But I was missing those type of shots too.
Yeah, when they zoom up on the deer and then they zoom up on the face or something else. Like I just thought like you could have done something to replicate that. I mean, you saw that in Multiverse of Madness in the temple with Doctor Strange, and he does those exact same things. You know what I mean? Like those are like hallmarks for Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
So I missed that. I wish they would have figured out how to do that. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, overall, last thoughts or ratings. What would you guys like? What would your rating be, Michael?
Out of 10?
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Okay. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 for right now. That's just like my base rating, because I think it's a really good movie. I think it's a really good sequel, and you guys did say, you know, as we've been talking about, like it is unfair to compare it to the 2013 one. And so like as a standalone movie, like it's really good. I enjoyed it. I think my experience was ruined because of the trailer. You said your experience was ruined, Ellie, because of annoying people. My experience was kind of ruined because I saw everything pretty much coming because of the trailer. Yeah. So I think had I gone into it not seeing the trailer and just going into it blind, I probably would have given this a 4.5. But right now it stands at a 3 just because, you know.
Yeah. Are you going to give it a rewatch, you think?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, this is a movie I'm definitely going to watch more than once. Like it was really enjoyable. I liked it a lot, and I feel like you guys probably think that I hated it or something, but I'm not. I'm just, I don't know. There were just a few gripes that I had as far as like character development went, because I just feel like they could have gone farther with that at least. But other than that, I thought it was good. And also, I kind of thought it was kind of dumb to have like the ending, like the opening scene be like, oh, one day earlier or something like that. I just kind of thought that was kind of out of place. Like, I just think that it would have been better if they could have done that better. And the ending was kind of a miss for me, because like with the whole girl walking out and getting possessed, I was kind of like, okay.
My husband said my husband said the same exact thing. He's like, why did they do that? Where are they going with that?
Exactly. It just kind of felt like they maybe.
Evil Dead rises again. Like, come on, duh.
I will say that was really cool when she rose out of the water and you saw the title come up behind her. That was dope.
I love that.
That was really cool.
It felt like you were watching a cool old horror movie or something.
Yeah.
Beginning.
Yeah.
Johnny, what would you rate it?
I give this 4 Z's out of 5. I enjoyed it. I think this is a solid entry in the franchise, in my opinion. And yeah, man, I had a blast with it. I liked this more than I thought I was going to. I had very low expectations for it. This movie just blew me out of the water.
Literally.
This was a fun movie though. This was really fun. It didn't scare me, but this was a fun movie, really intense. And I really do like that they did not play it safe and actually put the kids in danger. Like, we saw a kid getting murked on here. Like, holy shit. Like, when you saw that, dude, like in the hallway, you're just like, fuck. Yeah, no one is safe. Unless, that's one of those unwritten rules. You kill off a dog or a kid, you know, everything's off the table.
Which I'm glad they didn't kill the cat.
I know. I said the same thing. I was like, thank God.
I was worried.
Yeah, I turned to my friend and I said, not the cat.
I know.
She's all looking at the vent.
I was like, oh shit. Because I was expecting to hear like a ring.
I know.
I was like, oh,
although
thank
it
God.
would have been a fun and interesting addition to their little conglomeration.
Oh, like
just having the three-headed person at the end, but then the cat's head is also there as well.
Oh, that would have been hell of expensive.
One little pause, just like, yeah.
Oh my God.
That would have been Evil Dead 2 all over it right there.
Totally.
We could have had an evil cat part 2, as they did in Scary Movie 2.
Oh my God.
Where Cindy's getting attacked by the black cat. They could have done the same thing in this, where it was like a possessed deadite cat. That would have been really fucking hilarious, actually.
That's how my cat is in real life. So.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with Johnny. I gave this 4 snaps. Like, theater experience, -0 in debt for the rest of your life.
No snaps.
Yeah. No snaps.
Snap him upside the fucking head.
Yeah.
That's and people make fun of me for driving 30 miles away from the nearest theater to go see a movie. Like, that's fucking why I drive out of the way to go see movies. You know what I mean?
Or what if you get annoying people at that further theater too?
Well, then I just drive further.
You're double fucked.
Then I just drive further, and then I'll end up in San Francisco or Oakland, Sacramento. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm gonna go to any other theater. You know what I mean? The theaters that I go to, for the most part, I do have like really good experiences at. But the 2 theaters that often give me trouble is the Macchiato, which is near a university, which fucking sucks.
That's why.
That's why that's where we saw Skinny Marink, and it was just like, yo, fuck those kids. And
although management there
was good.
We're good, but it's
and then Oak Ridge is a hit and a miss.
Hmm.
Oak Ridge is a hit and a miss, but for more often than not, we tend to have good crowds. Mayan is starting to go downhill, so
the Salinas one.
Yeah, we're not going there no more.
They need to upgrade. Like, you can't even see like down the hallways. It's kind of creepy. Like, their lighting is just like really dim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they need to do is clean the motherfucking carpet, because my feet kept sticking. So that's what
it's
gross.
Maybe it doubles as a porn theater.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
That's great.
Speaking of porn, how moist did this make you in this movie?
Good segue. Well, unlike the 2013 one that left me pretty dry, I was pleasantly surprised. I liked it. I liked it way more than I thought I would. I can't say I was really scared. I thought the beginning was super creepy and I thought it had creepy moments. I didn't really feel overall scared, but I thought it was pretty intense and fun. I thought, yeah, so I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It wasn't scary or like too suspenseful. Like you're not going to jump out of your seat, but it was just a fun, gory ride, you know, for like for what that genre is. Like that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I love the beginning.
Yeah, I love the beginning too. Would you say that Bump in the Night approved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bump in the Night / I love horror. Approved.
Underscore.
Underscore.
Underscore love.
Johnny's like, haha, very funny.
Yeah, like I think everyone like enjoyed it for, you know, somewhat. Just don't watch the trailer. Don't go to an annoying theater.
Yes.
To watch
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can, you know what? This at a drive-in I think would be fun too.
Oh, for sure.
And you won't get annoying people in your car. Hopefully not, but
depends on how much you have to drink.
Yeah. I was sober watching.
Driving to the theater.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Don't drink and drive, kids.
Yeah, don't do that. Have a driver.
Right.
Yes.
So is that it? Is that everything? Anything else has anyone else want to add anything else before we head on out?
Don't compare it to the 2013 one. I'll just say that it's a different thing, you know. It's
don't
a different
even see
vibe.
the 2013 one. No.
Yeah, don't even watch the 2013 one. Michael's like, I gotta go.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just kidding. I like to run jokes into the ground.
All right. Well, that is our episode on Evil Dead Rise, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that we gave you some great insight and a great review, some great content for you to enjoy. Michael, where can they find you in your podcast?
You can find me at the We Love Horror podcast. I'm on Instagram, and I do have a TikTok as well. I need to be better about posting on there. You guys are so good about posting a TikTok. I think you guys are on it.
I don't do it. Johnny has his own TikTok.
Yeah, Johnny, you're on it. You're like on it all the time. I need to be better about that. And I also have a YouTube channel called Anything and Everything Horror, which is something else I need to be better about getting back onto. But yeah, you can find me anywhere you stream podcasts, and yeah, check me out, guys. And thank you for having me on the episode. This was really fun.
Thank you for coming on.
Anytime, man. You know the door's open. You know the door's open. So till then, we will see you in May, ladies and gentlemen. We will announce our movie, I think, first week of May. We're gonna look at the schedule and see what we got. But till then, we'll see you then. Stay safe and
stay scary.